Are you looking to boost your self-confidence for 2024? Well, today I wanted to start the new year off with my top 5 lessons from 2023 that have really helped me grow through some challenges and also add more confidence in my life. And if you stay until the end, I have an extra point for you then as well. So first of all, Happy New Year. If you're listening to this right now, maybe it's New Year's Day, maybe it's another day. Anyway, I just wanted to start off by saying the obvious. And yeah, like I see a lot of people post on social media like, let's make this the greatest year ever. And let's be honest, most people don't do that. They just get the same cycle. So what I really want to do in focusing on my podcast is giving you some practical, simple tips so you can actually move forward and boost your self-esteem and confidence. So you're not one of those people who quit the gym in 2 weeks. So for me, 2023 was quite a tough year, as was 2022. Let's call them growth years. Now, people listen to me. Like I've done speeches, I've talked to people, I've interviewed a lot of people, and they say to me, "Oh, you come across very charismatic, very confident." And yes, I can be very confident in some areas because I always work on those areas. It's not natural. If you're someone sitting there or listening or standing or whatever you're doing right now, listening to this and thinking it's natural for me, it is not. We're naturally born, I believe, with good self-esteem as babies because we cry, we demand attention, and then we have beliefs that come into our system. And we all have different experiences that may hold us back. We may think differently and behave. I do believe we can all train ourselves to be more confident and have more self-esteem, as I've done as well. And I talk about more of my own personal story in some of my other episodes. Just a quick overview, though, like I lost a lot of people when I was young. And I felt like I wasn't enough and I wasn't lovable. If this is like one of the first episodes you've listened to, and I didn't realize that until my late 20s when I had a lot of challenges coming in, and even the last couple of years actually really testing me, and some of these beliefs not being good enough or not being lovable came out. And actually, even public speaking was terrifying at one point, and I already had to push myself through little tiny steps to move forward. And it really annoys me when people just say, "Oh, it's natural for you." No, it's not. I put a lot of effort in. If you're not doing anything about improving your public speaking, expecting it just to be better and some people just can do it, well, that you're living in Disneyland. You need to actually implement it. So anyway, that's a little bit about my story. Now, the good stuff that in 2023 that happened to me, I had some opportunities in like sales. I've never been in sales in my life until 2022. And I was able to join a sales team and then get a sales manager role within a year of that. And it was great leading a team. And that I put a lot of effort into that. I had some great opportunity. I got to go to Peru, got to go to a retreat, which was amazing as well. I made lots of new friends. I had lots of opportunities come my way. Now, I also had some big challenges, let's say, like in my career, it was tough, right? I found it really, really tough adapting to a new area I was in. And also, I had a dating relationship situation whereby it didn't work out and it was really, really tough for a number of months. I won't go into that because obviously that involves someone else, and I won't go into detail on the podcast about that. Let's just say there was a lot of growth that came out of it for me with her. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what I really picked out in terms of my top lessons in 2023, like I said. Now, I believe we all learn and grow, right? We sometimes things come in our life to add more joy. Things come to grow, help us grow. Now, sometimes things are really, let's be honest, horrific, and some really bad things can happen in life, unfortunately. And we need to go through certain grieving processes. Now, I'm not a grief expert. I've actually got someone who is really good with grief, and she's trained in it. If you want to listen to that episode, it's a few weeks ago, Diana Para, amazing woman who does focuses on grief. Now, if you've got a horrific event, obviously you want to be processing that and not just pushing it away, is what I've learned personally. Now, I'm going to go into my 5 lessons I learned from 2023 that really helped me grow. I want to ask you this though. If you keep doing the same thing again and again, and I've been guilty of this as well, and you're expecting different results, maybe you want to look a little bit more closely about that. People come in, same approach and it really annoys me every new year. Right, I'm going to go to the gym, lose weight. They got no strategy, no system for how they're going to maintain that drive, and they get the same results, right? They don't hire a trainer, or people are like, look, I want to really work on myself. Oh, but I'm going to save money and just listen to free stuff all the time, right? Now, I'm here to help you, obviously, as a free resource. Yeah, if you really want that higher accountability, would it hurt to invest a little bit in yourself? Like, it's changed my life, okay? And that's a challenge. Like, people just do the same things again and again and see different results. So ask yourself, are you really going to make a change? If so, talking about it's not going to make a change. What's going to make a change is actually acting on it. And I used to be just to talk about ideas and never do anything. So I've definitely been guilty. So just look at your lessons and what you're going to implement from them, which is really, really key. So here's my top 5 lessons on confidence from 2023. Number one, connecting to the heart, breathing into the heart. I sometimes found myself crying with joy, sometimes sadness when I've connected to my heart because I've had a lot of setbacks in my life, let's say. I lost a brother when I was 2. I also experienced a parent, my mum had like a was really upset. My dad was really upset around the situation. I lost other family members around that. And therefore it made me quite protective of my heart and not actually go. And then I had, being dumped in school, like not being the popular kid, all these kind of things. And some people said some hard things to me. And it made me quite protective and hide my heart away. And also rejections in like career, like business and relationships. And actually what that did was really made me hold my heart back. And but actually when I've been able to connect to it more in 2023, it's allowed me to really feel that higher level of consciousness. I'd look up, if you don't know what I mean by consciousness, look up the map of consciousness by David Hawkins. And also he's got a great book called Power versus Force and another great book called Letting Go, if you want to know more about that. When I've been able to connect to those high levels of love, that's when I felt my best though. And by breathing into my heart, that's really helped me. Now I'll breathe in for 6 and breathe out for 6. There's many different breathing techniques you can look up. The second thing, and I fell off this a little bit, admittedly, was listening and reading information. The amount of difference it makes is huge. Like in 2020, I had a really good year. Now, I know some people didn't, admittedly. The reason I had a really good year in 2020, obviously with all the pandemic coming on, and I'm not saying it wasn't hard for other people, it was horrendous from what I've heard for other people. And I've had horrendous times in my life, and we've all got different, should never compare, we've all got different situations. Now in 2020, the reason I had a really good year was because I was reading, I was growing, and I was implementing like nothing before, because I had a really hard 2019 and I read like 50 books. I was like on fire. And I felt amazing, high confidence. I was sharing, I was going out there to the world. And I've trailed off that a little bit when things hit me in 2022 and 2023. And when I started getting back on that, I realized how strong my value for growth is, and actually embodying or embedding high levels of quality information really impacted on me in a positive way. So that's the second thing. The third thing is that I've learned is you train yourself physically in the gym or running or working out or whatever you're going to do. The same applies mentally. And I think this is often missed. And you don't just train yourself. I found I don't just train myself mentally when I'm really down, when I'm really sad, and then it's about like meditation or journaling or breath work when I'm really down to work through those emotions. No, I think that's in my opinion what a lot of keeps a lot of the world stuck. They only start working on themselves when they're already down. The mental work needs to be done every single day, in my view, and what I've learned. Mentally train yourself like you would physically in the gym, because there are going to be hard times. Admittedly, I'm not going to say everything's smooth if you train yourself. Yet when the harder times come in, you'll be able to see them from a different perspective. you'll be able to bounce back a lot quicker. And when you train yourself mentally, I've also found that I'm able to experience the joyful things at a higher level of joy. It's really, really amazing. The fourth lesson I've learned is kind of relates to what I was saying at the beginning a little bit. Um, People will come into your life to add more joy and great company or for growth. Like me in particular, I dealt with a challenging individual last year, or yeah, in 2023. And let's just say that was for growth, right? It allowed me to see where my wounds were, though, because most people I've spoken to have got some kind of wounds from like childhood. And I don't mean it, sometimes it is, but it doesn't have to be like severe trauma, like you were like attacked or anything like that, which unfortunately is the case for some people. Obviously, my thoughts to you if you went through that, and hope you're seeking the appropriate help, of course. Yeah, we all have like wounds, whether someone said something, just even if a teacher made like shouted at you or said some comment in school, that can create a wound, all right, in yourself. Like I got lost. I got two amazing, loving parents, incredible. But as a kid, I got lost in that moment of getting. I just ran out of the house, just being a silly little kid, got lost, and in that moment, I was like feeling really alone, and that was in my system, and it was a bit of a wound. And actually, I have a little bit of an abandonment wound in me. Like I will share with you. And that's something I'm still working on. Right. And sometimes when a challenging individual comes into your life, they can activate more of that. So how I've seen it and working very close with my amazing one-to-one somatic coach, where we go really deep into this stuff, I've been able to really grow as a result, be more present and hug myself, be there for that inner child, that younger version of myself inside myself from the difficult individual coming into my life. And then the fifth one is being authentic. This has been key for me, just trying to, be more of me. Now, sometimes there is obviously there's kind of some guidelines you got to follow, because sometimes the brain's going, oh, this person just shut up. And admittedly, sometimes I catch myself saying that. I don't feel bad if you're thinking something bad about someone, like, oh, this person's an idiot, or this person, like, the brain does that. That's okay. Like, as long as you're not going around telling everyone they are, there is guidance. Like, I was on a call the other day, and just we were all meant to be sharing in a group, and someone just kept hogging like the discussion, and someone did interrupt in the right way. If I interrupted, I probably would have said, shut the F up. Right. So there is there is like some kind of guidance in terms of being authentic. Yeah, what you want to do is try and be authentic and express who you are as much as possible. And sometimes that might be small, right? Might be a small step, like just saying no to one thing. I'm pretty good at saying no, admittedly. Like I had someone say, because lots of people come to me to start podcasts, and I had someone come to me the other day and say, oh, would you be open for a call or whatever? Well, I've had a few people say that. And I'm like, no, because my time is precious. I've got to go out there and deliver for other people, right? So being able to put those boundaries in place, I still go out and help people. I create this content. I create other content for people who want to start their podcasts. Yeah, try and be authentic. And maybe that's just a small step in terms of just saying no to things. If you really want to identify what's authentic and not to you, start listing out what's not authentic, what doesn't feel right, what does your heart say, this isn't right for me, and start listing that out. Okay, so that's what I've got in terms of the 5 main lessons. Now, what I want to say as well is, if you really want to get a specific subject for 2024 that you'd like me to cover, just vote on the Q&A, where you can pick something, and as long as it relates obviously to this area of self-esteem, confidence, mindset, etc., or personal development, just put that in the Q&A and I will add that to a future episode potentially. Okay, so my bonus point, my extra point I wanted to share with you, and right, this is a little bit controversial, probably for some people. Yeah, going back to the point about being authentic, this is what I believe. And you can choose to go with this, or you can say, no, Johnny, I disagree. Or you might say it stronger than that. That's absolutely fine. I found this makes me feel more empowered though. Right. And I know sometimes people are in cases where there's something really bad has happened, in which case, obviously, get the guidance and the support you need. Okay. So I believe I cause everything in my life. That's one thing I've learned. A bad, negative person comes into my life. That was my responsibility. Now, you might be saying, well, no, it's how they acted. Well, actually, there must have been some kind of energy I was putting off to attract that person into my life, or that person, I had that person come into my life. This goes a bit spiritual, and I'd recommend reading the book Busting Loose from the Money Game, because it doesn't relate to just money, it relates to like a high level, or reading Reality Transferring to really understand what I'm talking about. These are quite big books, heavy books. Yeah, in some level, I created that. Either from a point of I had some negative vibrations in my life, or that I brought that personal situation into my life to allow me to grow. That's one key thing I've learned. Now, there's different levels of consciousness, and there can be a level, and I've been caught up with this many times. I was even caught up with it in the last couple of years, where we can get into what's known as victim mentality. When you think, oh, life's happening to me, this. And if a string of bad events are happening, it is very easy to get caught up in that. Yeah, totally get it. Yeah, if you can start looking, and this takes some practice, it's very hard to do. If you can start looking at things coming into your life that you created as an opportunity for growth, and you're teaming up with life to help you, then that'll make you feel much more empowered. What's more empowering? Thinking, oh, this is happening to me, this happened to me, this person treated me like that. Oh, life's really unfair. Or I created that as an opportunity to grow, to become more of myself. Ask yourself which is more empowering. And again, you don't have to agree with this point. Just ask yourself the question, what's going to be more powerful for you in your life right now? And again, I like to try and coach and give guidance rather than I used to just immediately say, do this, and this. Being the typical newbie into personal growth, as I was, I just like to invite you to ask that question to you. Now, I totally get, like I said, sometimes there's really traumatic and hard events, and we need support and processing through them, right? What I want you to think about is like, if you're constantly attracting negative people, situations, maybe you're always out of money, just look a little bit more inwardly, right? Rather than looking at other people and saying, oh, they got it so easy. That's what I found really empowering in my own life personally, to see that I'm more empowered and in control when I'm creating this, even the bad stuff. Okay. So that's what I got for you today. My top 5 lessons for really boosting my confidence, well, that have come from 2023 and really going into 2024 that I wanted to share with you. So I appreciate you for being here. Once again, Happy New Year. You're improving other people's lives by being the best you. And remember, you are in control of your own self-esteem and confidence.